I'm going to show you how to change a spare tire on a truck or van. This process is very similar for many different trucks and vans. I have a 2008 Nissan Frontier, but this process is very similar for many makes and models in regards to trucks and vans. You can see the full-size tire underneath the bed of the truck, unlike one of these donuts in smaller cars, which can fit in the hatch of an area. The Nissan Frontier has spare tire tools behind the back seat in this little cubby. You unlock the cubby, exposing the jack, lug wrench, and the lowering handle, which I'll explain what that is in a minute. So here we have our spare tire jack, the extension arms, and the lug wrench. Now, I have aftermarket rims on my truck, so the standard lug wrench won't actually fit. And because I didn't want to get stranded, I went to the auto parts store and bought a 3/8 drive 19 millimeter socket, which does actually fit into the space to remove the lugs. So if you don't have aftermarket wheels, you don't need a replacement, though this one does have a longer handle and is easier to get the leverage needed. So in your owner's manual under spare tire, you can see directions on how to lower the spare tire in the back. You actually want to use the correct jacking points on the rear axle and the side of the vehicle. I'll show you where those are as well. In the rear, you want to jack the vehicle up right at the axle. And if you were to change the front tire on either side, you would want to jack the vehicle up by the frame. I'm going to point to this reinforced area that I would use to jack it up at. We're going to replace the rear wheel today. So get all our tools ready, and now we can find this little hole on the back of the truck. That is the access port for the handles. You simply attach these handles together, and you use the lug wrench to rotate the handle. The rotation allows the tire to lower once you actually get that extension rod in the correct spot. And you keep spinning it, and eventually the spare tire will lower completely. You can see the chain through the middle there, kind of holding the hub. Once it's all the way down and extended, you can then maneuver that centerpiece and pull it through so that the spare tire is able to put onto the vehicle. And I'm going to show you how that kind of works here. See, there's some slack in that chain. That slack will allow us to then remove the centerpiece after, getting in there and making sure that it doesn't actually hold it up, that it does come through. Once you can pull this kind of holder piece through, you can then remove the spare tire and get it ready to put on the vehicle. I'm just going to show you how it would go back up. Once you were done, you would just do the reverse process until it was back where it needs to be. But if you're going to get this fixed, you could just throw everything in the bed and go get it fixed. So with the vehicle on the ground, it is not jacked up yet. We're going to loosen the lug nuts. So we just want to break that tight seal so that we can then take them off by hand once the wheel is in the air. So I'm going through and loosening them all about one full turn. Before I jack up the vehicle, I'm going to go to the opposite tire, the front left, because we're removing the rear right, and I'm going to chuck that wheel with this nice wood block that I had, just in case the vehicle wants to roll away on us when we jack the vehicle up. So with the jack on the ground, you can see the same piece that fit in to lower the spare tire is the same end that we can use to extend and lower the jack. I found that keeping it outside like that is an easy way to extend it fully, because if you're under the vehicle and you got to rotate it by hand, like I just kind of was showing you, it can take a long time to get up there. But either way, we're here now, and we can't lift it by hand, so we got to get the extension rods. Like I said, it fits in the same way that you lowered the vehicle, and build it out, and then use the lug wrench end to then jack the vehicle up. It's a slow process, and it doesn't lift it that high, but it'll lift it high enough to get the tire off the ground in order for you to change and put on that spare tire. So with the tire off the ground, we can now remove all the lug nuts as they are loose. and they just need to be fully removed. With those removed, we can now lift the tire off. And if you've been keeping up on your tire rotations, it should come off pretty easy. Then roll that spare, and we can put on the spare. So simply lift it up, put it on the lug studs. I had to do that with the camera down. And we're gonna put the lug nuts back on. And you wanna put them on by hand because you absolutely do not wanna cross thread them. If you cross thread them, you're gonna have more of a repair and you're gonna have to replace that lug stud. But just get them on by hand, all 6 or 5 or 8 or however many you have on your van or truck. Once they're on snug by hand, using a star pattern, you're gonna tighten them down as best you can while it's still in the air. Now, you're not gonna tighten it down all the way, but get it as tight as you can. And a star pattern just means you're going across. You're always tightening the one across. So I'm finally going through and tightening them all down. I made sure that the vehicle was completely on the ground so that we can torque these down. If you found this content helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment, and I'll leave a PayPal donation link in the video description if you can make a donation.